Hello everyone, Tony here bringing you a new deck profile video. So just full disclaimer, this deck is kind of a concept, still a work in progress, but I kind of wanted to share it because I got excited as I was playing it. So yes, you're seeing a Cyber Angel in front of you. So I know Cyber Angels are mostly associated with Drytron, and for this deck that remains true. However, this isn't your normal fairy Drytron deck. This is a different take on it. I'm pretty sure it may have been thought of before. I'm not too sure because I'm just getting back into YuGiOh over the last year. So we get into the deck list, and hopefully this inspires some people to kind of be creative with this deck and maybe even help me improve this version of it, right? So this is a Drytron Blue Eyes Chaos Max deck. And the reason that I thought about playing this pairing is that the reason why people pair it with the fairy stuff is because Herald the Ultimateness kind of plays into the whole ritual summon monsters with increments of 1,000 plus attack. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So the Chaos Max cards, Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon as well, has that 1,000 additive attack point. So I thought that this would be a fun make to roll within. So far it's been pretty fun when I have played it. I will be tweaking it. I do have a couple tech cards in here that are just here for some flavor, but you are more than welcome to change it for something that is more towards your liking. So with that out of the way, let me get into the deck list. So first it is Cyber Angel Benton. This card was restricted to one for a reason. It gave Drytron a crazy amount of consistency. Let me adjust this a little bit. It gave Drytron a crazy amount of consistency. When the card attributed, you can search your deck for a ritual monster. So at one it is. It's still really good, and you can actually reuse this card in this deck, and that'll be explained later. One Edison. Edison really is there for the plus 1,000 attack. You can add one ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. That's nice, but the Drytron stuff tends to recycle that stuff itself. Natasha helps set up certain boards where you can take your opponent's monsters and like them off, or maybe just push for an end game. This has actually been a really nice addition to recent Drytron decks too, because I didn't really see this that much, especially when Benton was at 3. Now to the Blue Eye stuff, we're playing 3 Chaos Max. This is your deck's boss monster. Huge attack stat. Your opponent cannot target it or destroy it with card effects. Yeah, your opponent cannot target it or destroy it with card effects. So it's a really consistent boss monster, and he pierces through defense monsters and does double damage. Really big attack stat, and the fact that he pierces and does double is insane. And then the one copy of Chaos Dragon, this is just have like a alternate beater on the field. The only downside is that you're not going to get the second effect of being able to make your opponent's attack and defense 0, but he still gets the effect of not being able to be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So he's a good pseudo boss. He just doesn't have the piercing event. No, the Drytron stuff. I am playing 3 Alhiba. Sorry if I butcher these names. I'm not used to enunciating them. 2 Elton, 2 Alpha Thuban, and then 1 Delta Altius. So the reason why I play these numbers, initially I was playing 3 Thuban, but I kind of dropped 1 for a second one of this, and the reason why I played 2 L10, excuse me, is he helps you exceed and link summon, and I didn't really want to cut this because this helps extend certain things, but I also like the ability to go into bigger things. So initially I was playing this as 3-3-1-1, but the 3-2-2-1 lineup I kind of feel like works a little better. So in case you're new and you don't know what this does, when he's special summoned by his effect, you can search your deck for a ritual spell. This one searches for a ritual monster. This one lets you special summon an additional Drytron from the graveyard, and this one lets you reveal a ritual spell or trap. Ritual monster or spell to draw a card. So that's it for the monsters for now. So you can definitely play hand traps in this deck, right? But this is a theory crafted version, so the hand traps will come later eventually if I do decide to make this a little more beefy. But for now, I'm just playing it as like the concept of it, because this is a theory craft of this deck, but I was excited to share it. So this is a little preemptive, I know. So now the 3 search cards, Cyber Emergency. You can search for all your Drytrons, and deck thinning is deck winning. So having this here is almost insane. There's a lot of searching in this deck. 3 Drytron Novas. The special summons the Drytron monster from the deck, which automatically sets up a Link, an Exceed, or a tribute fodder for one of your Drytrons that are in the graveyard. 2 Mediotonus Drytron and 2 Fafnir. I see people play this at 1. I like it at 2 to be able to search these 2 cards out. And this is the ritual spell for Drytron. This is another card that people play at 1, but I do play at 2 because you want to see it and you can always get to search it. And the fact that you can ritual summon quite a few monsters, it's recyclable, but to be able to play both in one turn sometimes is a little crazy. And Fafnir, you know, it just lets you search. You don't have to play. You can drop Fafnir and play Terraforming, or just play Fafnir on 1. It's really whatever you prefer. Foolish Burial, Called by the Grave. This is to not get disturbed by your opponent. I want this card back at 2, but it's at 1, so whatever. Foolish Burial is essentially just there to send a ritual monster or a Drytron monster that you need in the graveyard to help progress your turn or your game state. 2 Pot of Extravagance. I'm probably going to either nix this card altogether or maybe just drop it to 1. It's nice when you get it, and I'm not saying it doesn't really have a place in here, but I don't feel it like it's 100% necessary like right now. You know, like maybe through test playing I'll be able to like kind of see why I feel that way. But it's nice when you get it, you know, but it doesn't also like make or break this deck or anything like that. 2 of my favorite tech cards, Trial and Tribulation. So the thing with this card that makes this card interesting is Drytron tribute a lot, and ritual summons also counts as tributes. So with the exception of banishing the monsters in the graveyard, using this would allow you to proc all 3 effects most of the time, like almost effortlessly. So my original build of this, where I was playing fairies, I was using stuff like Honest. I was using like 1 copy of Geraldo, the green light, triple orange light, and I just didn't really like the fairy type because it just felt so conventional. But this is still very usable in this. So you can easily recycle Ben 10 back. You can grab back well, to understand how it recycles, for every up to 3, it has 3 different effects, right? So for each card that you tribute, you get an effect. If you tribute 1 monster, draw a card. 2, add 2 monsters from your graveyard to your hand, and then 3, you can destroy up to 3 cards on the field, and the last effect is non-targeting. So the board clear is nice, but it's not always gonna happen. The first 2 effects will though. So you draw a card, and then you can add up to 2 from your graveyard in a hand. So when I do incorporate hand traps into this is going to play like a bigger role, because I can grab a Ghost Bell or an Ash Blossom or Honest and kind of reuse these effects and kind of annoy my opponent with it. 3 Chaos Space, because none of the Drytron monsters or the ritual monsters can be normal summoned, and the fact that they're all lights or darks makes this 100% better. In the rare occasion where I do banish the Mediotonus Drytron, will banish for that card, Chaos Space lets me put those cards back into my deck and draw a card. I really just use it to kind of filter. It's like it's almost like a Foolish Burial that lets me also add the opposite card. It's a great card for this deck. Now the traps, I played 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. This is essentially just to turn off big threats or stop my opponent from stopping me from ending things. The game, you could replace this with Solemn Strikes or some hand traps. And the one hand trap I do play is Infinite Impermanence. This can be replaced with Effect Veilers, Ash Blossom, like whatever you want. Like, I like the Infinite Impermanence for the dual ability to kind of hit something in the back row as well when the situation does happen. But overall, this deck is like a really aggro-based deck. It does a lot of the stuff that like standard Drytron does, just none of the negate, right? So you're swapping the negate out for like power, essentially. So it's really just to punch your opponent in the face. The extra deck is kind of it's kind of like generic. We're playing 1 Mubeta. This, like, you know, helps with the deck, and it puts more purpose into Elton. We're playing 1 Lureless Assembled Nightingale. This card is literally only meant to go into Downward Magician to give Zeus an extra material. That's pretty much it. And I don't really need to go into Zeus unless I feel like I'm losing, or if my field like has lost its power in a sense. It kind of like lets me protect myself in some facet. One on the world goddess of the closed world is to get rid of stuff I can't target. Avermax, because he can kind of like 1v1 anybody when he's brought out with Masquerena, which has the ability to protect him. The nightmare cards, they're always nice to have. And in some occasions with the abuse of Elton, and you can kind of like really link these together. You can start off with a Link Kuriboh, bring out Phoenix, and then, you know, on your next turn, do some stuff, bring out Unicorn, and it's possible to actually use Unicorn for a draw engine in this deck, but it's a really generic extra deck. There's nothing like super special. Link Kuriboh and Relinquish Anima, when the situation calls for it, you can steal your opponent's cards and kind of make them a powerhouse. And all of the Drytron are level 1, so Link Kuriboh has many ways of coming back to the field. Crush Sheet, the ritual effect I haven't used yet, which to draw 2, discard 2, is really just here as like a filter. I really don't care what happens to it in terms of it hit with Extravagance or not. But the Exceed Summon effect isn't terrible. The Ritual Summon effect isn't terrible. With the Ritual, you draw 2, discard 2, exceed all your opponent's monsters, lose 700 attack, and that's permanent, not until the end of the turn. And then the last card is Nigirisu, the World Chalice. This card's actually really easy to bring out in this deck, especially with Elton in. You would just Elton in, bring out like your 2 monsters, and you can bring out another Drytron monster, Link Kuriboh, and then bring this out. We'll bring out one of the Nightmare monsters and link into this, and you could get rid of a few cards off your opponent's side of the field. This deck is in Rebuilding the Wheel, obviously, and again, it's like a really heavily theory crafted deck. I'm going to do some more testing on it. I'm definitely going to update it. You will probably see this deck again on the channel, but not like in the immediate future. I have been working on the new Dark Magician and Blue Eye stuff, and I kind of didn't want to just give you guys a Dark Magician deck and you just got one like a month ago. So Blue Eyes and Dark Magician will be on its way. I know I'm probably missing out on some views with the hype and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just I want my content to feel fresh. So you guys will get the stuff eventually. If you guys want it sooner, just let me know, and I'll you know, with the next few weeks, put those decks together, test them thoroughly, and then like put them on the channel. I want to thank you guys for watching. My videos have blown up bigger than I would have ever imagined. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that stuff. You know, if you like any of the videos that you've seen, or maybe this is your first time experiencing me, I hope that you had a good time. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon.